Hello everyone, my name is Rachel. It's so good to have you right here at this point in time. I wanted us to talk about or even think about a very sensitive issue. It is the issue of jungle justice. And I bring this topic up because of an instance that happened a few days or few weeks ago. It's about a young man who was traveling through a village, and two young boys smashed his windscreen. And he went after them, came out of the car, went after them, caught one of them. And then the next thing was that this boy said, hey, this man is a kidnapper. And he was lynched and he was beaten so bad that they had to take him to the hospital and operated on him. Unfortunately, a few hours later, this man died. And this man was an orphan, a human being like the two of us. And it's so sad that the people who must have perpetrated this act, on Sunday, I'm sure you're going to see them in church. That's the truth. They go to church. And you ask yourself, where is the love? Why are we actually Christians? What makes us Christians? The truth about it is the uniform of Christianity is love. That what makes you or marks you as a Christian, a matured Christian, the way you treat other people. It also reminds me of a story of a young soldier who went jogging in the morning, but he's a Ghanaian actually. And because he went jogging with his gun, and some women saw him and said, hey, hand about, they lynched him, and they did what? They killed him off. And he had a young family. He was innocent. We also remember the story of Isle 4. That's also a very popular story of 4 young men from Uniport who were also lynched because they were accused of theft. No questions asked, just killed off. And it's so gruesome. I couldn't even bring myself to watch the video when it came out. It was impossible. Because I just saw those young men as my younger brothers. Why would anyone do that to them, subject them to such gruesome death? Where is the love, for God's sake? What is wrong with our society? We need to bring love into our every life, into the society, and I'm telling you, things will be better. It reminds me, comparing it side by side, I'm reminded of the story of Jesus and the woman that was caught in adultery. And that was in John chapter 8, 1 to 11. This one was caught red-handed in adultery. Now, under the Jewish law, she was supposed to be stoned to death. So, in other words, her penalty was death. They were justified to condemn her to death, according to the Jewish law. But when they asked Jesus, actually they were testing Jesus to know what he would say. They wanted him to say something wrong so they can hold him at ransom. And then Jesus, when they asked him, was not even in a hurry to reply. He simply bent his head down, wrote something on the floor, looked up and told them. He said, he that is without sin should be the first to cast the stone. It was in verse 7. And then their conscience judged them because they looked inward to themselves and they saw, hey, we're not perfect. We have issues we're dealing with. What gives us the moral right to actually condemn this woman? And so from the oldest to the youngest, they threw down their stones of condemnation and they went off. And Jesus, looking up, everyone had dispersed, walked to this woman and said, daughter, woman, where are your accusers? Are there anyone here to condemn you? And the woman looked up and said, no, Lord. And Jesus said, neither do I. Go and sin no more. Now that is Jesus. This is God in human flesh. He was the only one who had the right to condemn that woman, but he did not. Because he is love. The love nature of God cannot cause him. He couldn't bring himself to condemn her, even though he had the moral right to condemn her. And that's what God wants us to do, to love people. Even if they are guilty of that thing, even if they were caught in it, our response should be love. Love, love, love. Let love more in our society. Let's live that life that Jesus wants us to live, the life of love, and let's stand out by it. And I tell you, there will be changes in our society. Let the law take its course. Don't take the law into your hands. If you catch the person doing it, please give the person to right authorities. Let's respond in love. Thank you and God bless you.